I know normally I preach on the gospel, but I feel like I did the Beatitudes like a few weeks ago. I know it was longer than that. So today, I'm more concerned with our other two readings. Our readings from Micah and 1 Corinthians. Confirmands, if you're listening, you shouldn't get that one wrong. We have two different things going on. Within the context of the Israelites, the Old Testament reading from Micah, and then the context of this church in Corinth that Paul is writing to. But they both involve God's action and power being the utmost actor. Now it mentions in Micah, who was it that took you out of the land of Egypt? And this is talking about when the Israelites were enslaved, taken over by the Egyptians, and they cried out to God, and God heard their cries. He equipped Moses and Aaron to go, talk to the Pharaoh, say, "Let my people go." It's taken a lot to me not to sing the song, but I think I'll make it through. God led the Israelites out of Egypt and showed his power to the Egyptians as well, so that his name would be known and feared. Kind of a different story, but a similar outcome on what Paul's talking to about in this early Christian church in Corinth when talking about what Jesus did on the cross. It's that simple thing of Jesus died on the cross for us so that we can be freed from sin. He died for our sake, for our salvation. On the third day, he rose again, according to the Scriptures. All of that good creedal language. But again, we get Jesus died so that we can have eternal life. Jesus died so that we can be blessed with the grace of God. It's nothing we've done. It's a simple truth of Lutheranism. We lean on that. But that then gives us two stories where God is the actor and we're left doing nothing. We didn't have to do anything. We just got our help, like the Israelites, or we got our grace from God, that free gift. And it brings questions about, like, well, then what the heck am I supposed to do? There's a lot of people that think, well, it doesn't really matter anything I do in life because Jesus Christ died for me, so I'll be forgiven. Or maybe I don't need to go to church because, well, I already heard the message, Jesus Christ died for me, I'm good. It doesn't say Jesus Christ died for me, so I have to, once I do go to church. It doesn't say that. I wish it did. We'd have such a better attendance. But there's a feeling of powerlessness. We're getting good things to happen to us, but there's still that feeling of powerlessness. I can't do anything to take part, to help out. Anyone who's been in a medical situation, or maybe have helped someone in a medical situation where you're completely bedridden, all you want to do is something. You want to do something to feel a little bit of worth, but you have to wait on other people to wait on you, maybe to feed you, maybe to change you. You feel like a kid again, like, oh, I can't take care of myself. And I think it's common. It's something to really ponder is, what is our role if God takes care of everything? This is what Micah talks about today. I will admit, I don't know too much about Micah. I had to read it once. Usually the only thing I see is that last verse, but it's a powerful verse. Verse 8, Micah chapter 6, verse 8. What does the Lord our God require of us but to do good, to do justice, to love kindness, and to walk humbly with God? That is our role as saved Christians, as people who have been saved by the grace of God. It's not a requirement for the grace, but it's a reaction. It's a response to the grace and love that Jesus Christ has showed us, to do justice, to help out those who can't help themselves. Whether monetarily, giving money so that people can be helped. Physically, being part of an organization that helps other people, whether helping them move, help bringing them food, help finding them shelter. And by voice, by sticking up. In simpler terms, by sticking up to the bully that's putting other people down and saying, this isn't okay. Standing up for those that don't have equality or are kind of being not treated fairly. That's a response to the love of Jesus Christ. We're also called to love kindness. To not just seek out kindness. You know, when you love, let's say you love a nice dessert, so every time you go to a restaurant, you seek out, do they have this dessert? Because, oh my gosh, if I see another half-baked cookie with a scoop of ice cream, I just gotta have it. To seek out kindness, loving kindness in our world, and in the same way, maybe grab a second spoon and say, does anybody else want to try some of this? If I eat it all, I know my stomach's going to be upset. To share that love with other people, that kindness with other people. I know it's kind of hokey, but it's like everything Ellen DeGeneres says after every show. Be kind to one another. God says it too in Micah. Be kind to one another. And what does the Lord require of us but to walk humbly with God? Now, walking humbly with God does not mean we consider ourselves powerless. Walking humbly with God does not mean that in the whole grand scheme of God's kingdom we consider our role meaningless. It means recognizing that as we walk out into the world, we are equipped by that all-powerful God. We are equipped by God to do God's work, to share God's love, and to witness to God's gospel truth. The truth of God's eternal blessing bestowed on us by Jesus' death on the cross. The same love showed to us by Jesus. And the same work that has allowed you to have faith in God. That same work working in your hearts and minds. The great part about humility and being humble, though, is when we get to Paul and he talks about the foolishness of the Christ and everything. Just because you're humble doesn't mean you can't boast. Doesn't mean you can't, get a little excited and say, oh, this is going to be good. This is going to be great. Like a football player guaranteeing a win. Just that amount of confidence and bravado. You can still have that. But what does Paul say? Christ has done all of these things so that when you boast in the Lord. Boast in that love of God. You boast in the power that Jesus showed on the cross and in that empty tomb. So let us boast. Let us go out boasting away, letting everyone know that Jesus Christ died for you. God loves you. Amen.